How them can fraud this man of him retirement money, and I don't hear the Minister of Finance speaking out.
If the gunmen, scammers and shutter drivers weren't enough, surprise, the financial institutions have joined the long list of woes in Jamaica. Yes, I know the financial system was always crooked, but it just moved up on the list. As many of you know, Stocks and Securities Limited has been the center of media scrutiny following the shocking revelation of $12 million missing from sprint legend Usain Bolt's investment portfolio. It is to my understanding that this $12 million was a large part of Bolt's retirement savings, and he is among several investors who were defrauded by the SSL. I cannot begin to fathom the shock and horror Bolt felt knowing that years of hard-earned money had disappeared poof over the course of 10 years. That's truly heartbreaking. I think a lot of people fail to mention that things like these have been happening in Jamaica for years. So this is no Nicodemus by night situation. In the preceding weeks, there have also been a trail of fraudulent activities happening in the banks. On Friday, January 13th, Kadeen Thomas, a wealth advisor at NCB, was arrested for suspicion of fraud in connection to a multi-million-dollar fraud scheme at the institution. In December 2022, Tricia Moulton, a bank manager at Sagicor Bank's Ligani branch, was charged in relation to defrauding the foreign currency accounts of customers along with McLeod, a personal banker. In June 2022, 5 persons were implicated in a cyber scheme that defrauded JMMB customers of $46 million. The credit unions have also had their fair share of fraudulent activities. Moreover, it isn't low-level employees carrying out these crimes most of the time. It's college-educated middle or top management employees who are earning a livable wage, and some are earning a lump sum of money monthly. Interestingly, women have been at the forefront of these fraud schemes lately. This shows that criminals come in all forms and can be the least expected. Importantly, there are white-collared crooks that can do more harm than the cut-off foot pants man brandishing a gun and spraying bullets. Crime is multifaceted, and multi-million-dollar fraud in financial institutions is just a tentacle of a deeper menace in Jamaican society. Lack of accountability and transparency. Before Bolt, there have been several persons who were defrauded by the financial institutions in Jamaica and never got justice. Now, I'm not talking about losing millions of dollars only, but the small things like being overcharged for transactions, money being taken from dormant accounts in the form of dormancy fees, being charged to withdraw your own money, and the runaround you have to do to recover money missing from your bank account. To add insult to injury, only $1.2 million is insured by the Jamaica Deposit Insurance Corporation, and it does not cover investments. Therefore, if you lose more than $1.2 million in savings, dog nyam your supper, because you're never getting back more than that, and no one is going to prison to serve substantial time. Cash Plus is a not so distant memory for many Jamaicans. Maybe it took something like this happening to Usain Bolt to rustle some feathers, you know? If it were the ordinary John or Jane, there wouldn't have been this much media coverage and outrage. They would have been pitied and sent along to weep in a corner with the other pillaged and downtrodden Jamaicans who have been failed by the incompetent judicial and legislative system. All of the bigwigs know each other and cover for each other, making justice for the ordinary citizen nearly impossible and turning some into villains. Other citizens have had to flee in fear for their lives. This kind of living is utterly unacceptable. It is uncertain if Bolt will even see at least $1 million being returned, although he has given SSL 10 days to hand over the $12 million that was stolen. Well, let's see what happens. Even more notable is the loud silence from government officials about such a big scandal. The finance minister took dinosaur ages to even give some words of empathy, while the prime minister blamed his slow response on having to confirm the details about SSL that has been circulating in the public. Even if they did not have all the details, they could have offered some words of reassurance the first day that news broke out about this unfortunate event. You might be saying that the Prime Minister doesn't need to comment because other people have lost money before. True, but Bolt is an international figure, and a scandal of this scale has international ramifications which will be felt by Jamaica. For God's sake, Bolt has made Jamaica so much money, especially in the tourism sector. With all the publicity around this matter, foreign investors are less likely to invest in Jamaica, and the ones who have already invested may just pack up and go. Here's a history lesson. In 1997, a speculative attack on the Thai baht, Thailand's currency, initiated the Asian financial crisis that spread throughout Southeast Asia. Loss of investor confidence contributed to every recession in the history of the modern world. Therefore, it should be common knowledge that once investors lose confidence, the economic stability of a country is under threat. The biggest consequence is the Jamaican dollar further devaluing, which would increase the prices of food, construction materials, and the general cost of living. Inflation and low wages are already evoking howls of hardship in the country. So just imagine the wide-scale impact this scandal will have on all Jamaicans in this aspect. Plus, the government needs its foreign reserves for liquidity and the stability of the Jamaican dollar in case of any economic shocks. For example, when COVID-19 ravaged the tourism industry, causing a shortage of US dollars, this resulted in the Jamaican dollar depreciating. Consequently, the Bank of Jamaica had to intervene by selling millions of US dollars to authorized dealers to prevent the rapid depreciation of the Jamaican dollar. In other words, using these foreign reserves kept the Jamaican dollar from slipping into a free fall. If the government is unable to get a grip on the possible economic fallout stirred by the scandals at the SSL and other prominent financial institutions, it is highly likely that a financial crisis would be on the horizon. Not the news you want to hear with the pre-existing fears of global recession in 2023 and the mass layoffs being done by many companies overseas. I know that many people have been thinking about moving their money and investments to other countries as a result of this saga with Bolt, but please remember that this level of corruption and recklessness is not indigenous to Jamaica. Do the names Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns ring a bell? If you are old enough to remember, these were two of the foremost American investment banks whose risk-taking behavior caused the subprime mortgage crisis, which ultimately led to the collapse of the world economy in 2008. German-owned Deutsche Bank seems to be endlessly dodged by scandals, with its most recent being in 2022, after an internal investigation revealed tax fraud being committed by the bank. London Capital and Finances recently concluded scandal resulted in 11,600 investors losing a total of £237 million in 2021. Time would fail me to mention all the financial institutions globally which have been or are currently implicated in fraud scandals. But unfortunately, corporate greed is a plague in every country and it is unavoidable. The only difference is that other countries like the United States will hold perpetrators accountable almost all the time. But accountability in Jamaica is scarce, and that is an understatement, honestly. Now, I am not discouraging anyone from investing elsewhere, but always keep in mind that there is risk in everything and everywhere. There's no escaping that fact. My advice would be to avoid putting all or most of your investments and savings into the hands of one financial institution. As my grandmother would always say, don't carry all your eggs in one basket. And to those thinking their mattress is the safest alternative, there is the risk of fire, termite, break-ins, or your beloved family members stealing your treasure. Finally, I hope that this situation, along with the crime monster, will be a wake-up call to all involved in the leadership of Jamaica to develop a better system of accountability and justice. Of course, I do know that it will be a long and hard road to destroying the web of corruption that is deeply embedded in Jamaica. But we cannot let these issues continue to hinder the growth and development of Jamaica and its people. Learning the hard way should not have to be an option after watching Somalia, the DRC, Haiti, Sudan, and countless other countries descend into chaos and labeled as failed states. Sadly, most Jamaicans already believe they are living in a failed state. Anyways, let me know in the comments, what do you think about the slew of corporate scandals? And was Usain Bolt the straw that finally broke the camel's back? Thanks for watching.